Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Space Viking Chronicles. I'm Margaret Krohn, and today I am joined by kind of new crew from last week. The lone survivor of the crew last week was Baz. No, I'm just kidding. No. The others are still in the town somewhere. But we figured we could bring in some new peeps. We try to do that every once in a while here, of course, because we have a permanent world that it continues to exist forever. Pretty amazing. But today this is the group that we have joining us. So I want to let everyone introduce themselves and who their characters are, as all of y'all have been introduced. There aren't any new characters that are being brought into town this week. Thank goodness, because everyone's been going through some struggles. I don't know if we can use another person in here. But there are some new things with some people's characters, so I'm excited to hear them talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to go around as per usual. We'll have you guys introduce yourselves, and of course, I talk a little bit about your character, what things you feel are pertinent for people to know. You can even talk about the last episode that you were on and where you kind of left off. And we'll start things up, and I'll let you guys know, if you're in the audience, how you can be part of the show. You can also do some things to interact and make it, well, exciting, to say the least.
That's a word for it?
Yes, a word for it. Last week's was like the best wild magics I have ever seen in my life. Like, it just timed perfectly. Like, I described a barmaid spilling a glass of water on the ground, and the next wild magic was something related to water. I was like, how does that even happen? I don't know, but there's like a voodoo dice somewhere around here. So starting things off, of course, Stan, let people know who you are, and of course, who's Baz?
Hey, I'm Standalone. Been a Space Viking for well over a year or so now, at least. And I'm playing Boz, the half-orc fighter, wearing his iron mask and discovering religion lately.
There's been a little bit of change with the religion stuff, hasn't there?
Yeah, I started a cult a little while ago and have recently disbanded that and have been speaking with Priestess of Helm. Been spending time in their church.
So you're in Helm's Deep now, then?
Stand back. And last episode, yeah, you were spending, of course, with a priestess. You were turned into stone at one point.
Yeah.
And unturned into stone. And also, like, all the effects that were part on you got removed, right?
Yeah, I'm back to actually being Boz. No more shiny teeth, no more looking like a random dweeb.
All gone. It's interesting. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, next up, we're going to see who are you, Derp? And of course, who's Varys?
Hi, my name is Derp Digital. I'm also known as Mighty Rick. I am head moderator and video editor for both Enter Elysium and Roll For It. Most of the things I do are on the background. I also have my own YouTube and Twitch, where I occasionally do stuff, but not recently because of family matters. Hoping to get back to that at some point, but yeah, very busy. As for Varys, however, he's also been busy. He's been asking around the town after the lost children, and fighting a T-Rex and getting denied, and being hunted by a red dragon that believes he's hunting him, which is going to be a thing because he's mad.
Who's mad?
I think we all are at this point. The dragon's mad that I'm hunting it. I'm mad that the dragon stole the T-Rex. It's getting complicated.
The dragon's a she. And of course, next up is going to be Rage Strike, who is playing Garrick Swift. Rage, your character has been through a lot, so tell us who you are, and of course, all the things about your character. I just want to preface, before this session, someone was like, hey, don't we need to get you fixed? And he's like, I'm perfect.
So I'm Rage Strike. I have feathered wings for arms.
Rage Strike doesn't. Garrick does.
Garrett does. I could, though.
I mean, we haven't seen his arm.
you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I have seen his arms unless he's like wearing someone else's body, which is
yeah.
also horrifying to think of.
That's, you know the movie Avatar?
Or this is just an
This
actor.
is, this is an Avatar.
Oh, and
Yeah.
thank you to Eamon for gifting Aurora Maria sub. That's super nice of you. Thank you so much. And Aurora, enjoy the lovely emotes as well as hop in and join our community over on Discord. We have an amazing slew of people. We talk about like everything, even from like cute animals to art to games to tech. So like it's just a great group of people. Get emotional when you talk about it. Go ahead. Sorry, Rage.
So I got feathers for arms, wings for arms, and then I think all my feet were turned to hands, so that means I have 4 hands now.
Yep. Which I feel like is more beneficial than having the one hand be a foot. Because I feel like if you have 4 hands, you can do a lot with hands, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm basically the monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
You totally are. You
Yeah.
are. Oh my
They
god.
had wings on their back, but I have wings for arms.
Yeah, you just have wings for arms.
And also, don't you guys think I'm just so good looking? So amazing.
His character loves his own reflection. So anytime there's something, which I'm kind of sad Baz doesn't have the teeth anymore. Baz used to have mirrors for teeth. I think they would have been best friends.
That would have made for some interesting interactions.
Yeah. Anything else you think people should know about your character?
Last time I played, everyone just went crazy. And I was just like, checking myself out, and everyone just went crazy and just like
You
ran
know
through
that
walls.
song? What's that? What was that song where everybody like would listen to it and then there was like something Ulrika and then everyone went like crazy? No one knows that?
Turn
The
out for
Harlem
what?
Shake, right? Or something like
The
that.
Harlem Shake, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
the
it
Harlem
was.
Shake. So it was like everyone's sitting in a room in like this cute, quaint farmhouse, and then 1 second later, everyone's just like throwing shit and going crazy, and then there's just Garrick sitting on the couch looking at himself in the spoons. Thank you, Wild Magic.
So everyone like ran out of the house going crazy. So, they abandoned the house. So I decided to just stay there for a while. And then, I started to get hungry. So I went to town.
Yeah, he was hoarding everything that was reflective. There was another group that went into the house again. And if they had, I think it was Gaz, right? If Gaz would have gone in, he would have found you. But he didn't go in, or he didn't go up the stairs. But the rest of them later went up the stairs to look, and they saw just a room, like the bedroom, just all the mirrors were like all around the bed, and all the spoon, anything reflective was in the bed. Yes, a lot of spoons and forks and knives and all the other things. I imagine you took the spoons with you instead of all the other utensils because they're less sharp. You could easily sleep with them and not have them poke you.
Maybe.
And last but not least, the one who has probably had the most changes because he spent a day in hell, Quiet Geek, aka Awdoth the Quiet. Which I don't know if we're gonna have to rename you now.
No, he's still going to be quiet, just perhaps not quite the same way.
Tell us what happened with you. Maybe what you were and what you are now.
Okay, Ardoth is a half-elf, a warlock, and he was having some problems with remembering things after gaining his power by encountering something that he doesn't remember and that had apparently started driving him somewhat mad ever since he started drawing power from it. Then he went to hell. Yeah, things are not the same with Ardoth anymore. Some of this is stuff I kind of want to reveal in play. So
yeah, you
I'm not.
you don't have to reveal everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of just what you want to reveal.
I will say he is still a warlock. Just don't expect him to be the same as he was. And we'll see how much comes out in play.
Yes, and we have a variety of levels going on here. I think we're level 4 to level 7. So everyone's different. How leveling and all that kind of stuff works is basically we have a world that is all created by amazing donators who helped me create the world to begin with. So thank you to all of those who have helped donate for that. And so all the character names for the most part that you're going to hear about are all characters from donators. And the town itself is called Vliptville. And that was named by Nate2150, so thank you, Nate. I think he named the forest Vlipt Darkwood, but I was like, ooh, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of that and name the town Vliptville, because forests tend to be named after like areas around sometimes, so I thought that would work out really well, especially since the town is dealing with some problems in the forest to the south. So if you haven't tuned into the past ones, don't worry. You can totally tune into this one. We're going to have a whole new adventure. And basically how we do things is a persistent world that continues to live and breathe. We bring in new characters every week. Sometimes we bring returning characters. It just depends on, the week and what we have planned. Today we have all characters who have been in the world before, but only Baz was here last week. And of course, you as viewers can also help not only save the many lives of wonderful children IRL for St Jude Children's Research Hospital, but you also get to affect the game here in many different ways. Over to the right, you'll see, and right above Baz, if you do ! St Jude in chat, it'll pop up a little link where you can donate. Please don't donate to me, donate there. $5 provides an inspiration. You need to tell me who the inspiration is for, otherwise I will choose. $10, you can either donate a natty 1 or a natty 20. Make sure you specify for who and which one you are donating. $15 lets you donate a wild magic. Make sure you let me know who you think the wild magic should go to, otherwise I will decide. And wild magics basically are, we roll a 1d 10,000 and something crazy happens. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. $20 provides a magic item. Make sure you tell me who you'd like the magic item to go to. You can recommend what the magic item will do, but I tend to kind of prefer to choose that just because it has to kind of make sense with what we're doing, and I don't want super silly things that are gonna make the world really unbalanced for me. But you can always suggest, and I will probably just make my own take on it usually. $30 is a threat, and a threat does not always mean a monster, but it can. Threats can be a bar fight, or potential bar fight, I should say, or it can be a buff to a monster like laser eyes or something of that sort. You never know. I will add some variations to it. But there we go. And I think we are close to getting to our $7,500 milestone, which means Manbeast, my boyfriend, will have to eat a habanero pepper while reviewing EverQuest, and he does not do well with spicy foods, so we'll see how that goes. And thank you to him for offering to do it. I would do it, but I feel like I would not be as entertaining as he's going to be doing it.
Thanks to him for biting the proverbial bullet.
Yeah, Frank and Ballas helped come up with a lot of the milestones. There's a lot. I have the pinned post on my Twitter if you guys want to go check out what the milestones are. Or you can go to bit.ly/SVK4KIDS, and I think all the milestones are there in the little dots. If you hover over them, you can see all the milestones. But without further ado, it is time for us to start our journey. And I'm going to start with where we left off. We left off in the church in the middle of the night. It's evening, and Baz, you and Delilah have been looking through a lot of books. What were you guys looking for exactly?
So you weren't we looking for a reason? We were trying to find out what had just happened, weren't we?
Yeah, you guys were looking up stone stuff, and
Yeah.
the last research that you did, I think you found something about like a stone creature that had some, and then she was pregnant, something along those lines, but you couldn't read it because it's in another language.
As it turns out, I was just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, you were just looking at the pictures, and well, there was a stone thing there, but it wasn't quite what you were looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were trying to find out why I'd gotten petrified. And yeah, I couldn't really find anything too relevant to that.
Are you planning to continue just to research here with Delilah, or what's your plan for the evening?
Yeah, I think that he'll probably stay and like help her out as long as she's looking. Because
Okay.
even though she didn't, he thinks that that she helped de-rockify him.
De-rockified, de-petrified him. But that makes sense that Baz would be like, she de-rockified me.
Yeah. He makes connections pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, even though she was like, I didn't do anything. Thank you, Oji-san, for the host. Appreciate it. And it gets later and later, and you both are unable to find something that quite is what happened to you. And she starts kind of piling up the books, like she's starting to like reorganize them and put them away.
All right, yeah, Boz is probably handing her like some of the books, and if like even the titles are in that other language, he's probably handing them in the wrong order.
Oh yeah, it's fine. She just kind of takes them and she spreads them out and puts them where she feels they should belong. And so that takes you guys a little while. Meanwhile, we are gonna backtrack to where Garrick is. Garrick, you started feeling hungry, I guess is what you were saying. So you were, what are you hungry for?
Food.
Just like general food? Are you just gonna go back to the inn?
Well-
Is that your plan?
Well, this weird thing happened last time I played, where all the water nearby tastes like blood now.
This
Oh,
is
that's
true.
fun.
You're muted for us. We can't hear you now.
I've been working on a way to convert it all to like tea or something, distill it.
Okay. You want to
so
like
that
change
I
the
can-
water to some other thing.
to
Okay.
tea.
And I'm assuming
then-
that you've probably eaten all the food that was in the shoe polisher's house at this point. Well,
Yes.
any food that you felt was good enough. Yeah, and you're making your way into town. Are you going to head straight to the inn?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You open up the inn door and it is late. Now, I don't know if Varys or Ardoth would be in the inn that late in the evening, or if you'd be sleeping in your room. But if you
I'd
wish to be in
probably
there,
be camping somewhere like outside of town, but close by.
what about you, Ardoth?
Ardoth has been deliberately keeping a low profile since returning from Hell, so he's not going to be in the common room.
I figured. Okay, so you come into the inn and there's not as many people as there was before. Oddly, it seems like people are cleaning some things up. Looks like maybe there was something that happened here. You're kind of you have a keen eye to that kind of stuff. As I mean, a rogue would. You see people kind of glancing about, and some of them are looking at you oddly. you
I-
kind of look a little strange to them.
I wink at them.
Okay, yeah.
I'm also looking at if there's anything reflective. I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, there are some lanterns that have little bits of metal strips along the sides where like the sides are, and so like some of them glint and reflect. There's silverware. Some of the mugs are kind of those like tin looking mugs, so they have a little bit of reflection on them.
Okay. And when I do sit in a chair, I sit with all 4 of my hands I
Yeah, you
perch
sit with
on
all 4 of your hands around the side of the. I love
on
that.
the chair. Yeah.
Yeah. You sit down, and are you just sitting at a table, or are you sitting at the booth, or at the bar? Sorry.
Is there? Well, it depends. Is there a barmaid, like a barmaid walking around?
There's one that's cleaning up a bunch of water that looks spilled down in by the stage area, by the there's like a little stage that has been built, and next to the board, the message board.
Does water look like blood to me, or does it only taste like
It
blood?
just looks like water to you. It hasn't looked like blood. It just tastes kind of like that. I don't know, salty blood taste. It's weird.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to the bar
Okay.
and order a drink of not water.
Yeah, you sit at the bar, and one of the bar handlers comes over, and he's like, sorry, we're just trying to do some things over here. What can I get you?
What do you have that's not water?
Well, he starts listing off a bunch of things. He has a variety of different meads, ales, juices, goat milk, cow milk. He just keeps listing off a bunch of things, and you just let him continue, or is there a point where like you stop him?
Do you got any Bloody Marys?
Bloody what?
What would be a god like Mary? What would be equivalent to Mary?
I don't know. I guess they had like some liquors and things like that, but
Or
we
does
can, we can take our own take on it. I guess why not? Why don't they have like? Sure.
I know. I'll just have some rum.
Want some rum? Yeah. He says no problem and kind of wanders off a bit. You see him take a glass and pull out a little tab that's on a keg that's sitting up there, and something comes out of it. He closes it and he comes back over. And he slides it over. Anything else I can do for you?
No, that's it. I pick it up and I look at my reflection in the glass. And I'm like, here's the wild magic. And then I start drinking it.
He looks at you oddly, and you see him kind of give a glance at the bar, the innkeeper as well, who's over at the side kind of doing something. Looks like he's maybe doing some math.
Okay, I'm just drinking.
All right. Meanwhile, we're gonna go visit Varys out in the forest. What are you doing, Varys?
You said it's getting late earlier, so I'm probably
Yes.
just setting up
It's like
camp.
midnight.
And yeah, I would be setting up camp, preparing to go and meditate.
Okay.
We're going to trance for a couple of hours.
All right. You're just gonna meditate out there.
Yeah, I like nature. I'm a wood elf, so
Where are you going to the North Forest? Like, there's not really forest out there, but there's.
he wouldn't really necessarily go to the forest. He'd just stay like a decent patch of grass somewhere, maybe a little hill,
Okay.
or like somewhere that looks a bit defensible.
All right. You're just gonna sleep. No other plans.
I mean, he might sit around and like try to be in touch with nature for a while to see what's going on around the place, but he doesn't have any really major plans at the moment, as he's still trying to figure out about the missing children. I think was the little I pulled a poster off the notice board at the end of like last time that I played, so I think that was like the little shoe polish kid.
Yeah, there were 2 children missing, and Mrs. and Mr. Shoe Polish had put up a notice for their children.
Yeah, I think
But
that was a notice I grabbed.
when you
so
went to the
probably-
house, they weren't anywhere to be seen, and the house was a little bit destructed.
Okay, so I probably have spent my few days like wandering around trying to investigate, ask people like what happened to Mr. and Mrs. Shoe Polish. Just try to ask them about their kids and they're not there.
We won't roleplay that because we're gonna kind of fast forward to it, but let's just see how much information you've gathered. How would you go about this? Are you just going to, are you kind of investigating or?
Yeah, I think I would be. Like, I'd be asking people, like, when did you last see them and stuff, and I'd probably try to look for tracks, things like that.
Yeah, roll me an investigation. 15. It's not bad. With a 15, you were able to talk to a few people. A couple of the stores that are nearby usually get some of their milk from the cows, and there's another store that gets some of their leather from the shoe polishes. And the shoe polishes store that they have, which is a shoe store, has not had anybody come into the store. Like, the store has not been open for probably a week now. And basically you just haven't, no one's heard from them. So the person who normally gets their milk has been, they're basically in dire need of milk. So you know that there's someone who's like, if you can find somebody else who can supply them with milk, they would love that. So you have kind of like a side quest on that front. And then you have another person who's like, I get all my leather from them and I haven't had any. So if you can find a supplier, that's another option. And then the third is, you kind of asked around and a lot of people are like, yeah, no one has seen them and their shop hasn't been open for weeks.
All right, I'd probably make a mental note to like have a look around their shop next time I pass by there. Maybe try to find my way in somewhere and have a look that way. Because there might be a clue in there and that might lead to their kid. Although, if they're all missing, then they're not going to be able to pay the reward.
Okay.
But he still wants to look into it anyway. So
you're kind of sitting out there in on this hill next to your tent and kind of thinking about all these things as like the conversations that you've had with all these different people is kind of running through your mind, and you're like, where are you, shoe polishes? Like, that's what you're thinking in your head. Meanwhile, we're gonna go pan over to Ardoth. Ardoth, you are actually sleeping. You're sleeping in the inn. It's late. It's like midnight. You've been kind of pretty quiet. You've been slinking in and out just to get food and then hiding back in your room every evening before the crowd gets a little bit too crazy, because it has been getting really, there's been a lot more people in the inn lately than you have ever seen. There was a bard who was playing some music that it was hard for you to go back to bed the other night, but the music was quite nice. You did feel that you needed to be alone. There's too many people around. And as you sleep there, you start to dream about some things. You haven't seen your raven in a while. And in your dream, the dream starts with your raven making some noises. It's like caca or whatever. And you awaken to the sound of this bird speaking to you, and you know what it's saying to you. It's like, Master, wake up. You open your eyes and you look around. What do you see?
Am I still dreaming, or am I in the...
You're dreaming.
Okay. He would be... Yeah, I think he would be back in hell. I think that's where he would go mentally.
Yeah, you open your eyes and you look around and the ground is scorching. It's like you're in your bed in the hotel room or the inn. Your bed in the inn is... You're back in hell. the ground is so hot that the poles of the bed are getting sunken, and your bed slowly is sinking further and further into the ground. And you just see these cracks in the ground that have lava spurting up in the air. And in a distance, you can see fire elementals wandering. It looks like they're watching you. They've been watching you for days.
Clarification,
Months.
fire elementals or demons?
They look like fire elementals.
Okay.
Once in a while, you do see something else that wanders around in the background. It's dark, gargantuan, but it's hard to see because it's so dark back there. It's like you see this shadow of something large moving around, but these large pillars of rock and lava are in the way.
Okay. Well, his initial reaction is going to be basically grab his stuff and get moving, because if he's just woken up here again, if he's actually back in hell, he needs to find a safe place.
Yeah, you go to grab your stuff, but every time you grab something, it turns into coin, and the coin starts falling to the ground. And you go to try to pick up the coins, but the coins sink into the ground, and you can't get them.
At that point, he's glancing around, making sure nothing, that the elementals he's seen aren't coming closer.
Mm-hmm.
Then what did he do? Anything he tries to pick up from his gear is doing this.
Mm-hmm. You go to
Does
go ahead.
Does that include his book, his tome?
Yeah.
Okay, he starts. Yeah, he's starting to panic. He's getting rather wide-eyed. This is really, really bad as far as he's concerned, because
All your memories are in there.
it's not just that; it's also a source of power for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all the coins start falling to the ground. Your bed has sunken and you can't see it anymore. And you look around as you're panicking. You start breathing heavily like you're hyperventilating. And those fire elementals that were so far away now are all around you. You can feel the warmth of them. There's like 5 of them around you, and you can feel how hot they are. And they're huge creatures in comparison to you, which is, to put in perspective, Ardoth is a medium creature. These are huge, which there's still like a large creature in between that. And you just feel this heat emanating from them, but they're not looking at you. It's like their backs are all to you.
Interesting.
Does he have any marshmallows? Vex. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, at this point, Arthur's going to try casting invisibility on himself and just disappear from view.
You try casting invisibility, but it doesn't seem like it works. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah. There we go. I was like, did my sentence make sense?
Yeah. He goes through. So he's basically going through the motions of what he would normally do to cast it, and nothing happens at the end of it.
Yeah. You do the whole cast. You do the voice, the hand motions, the gestures, and
yeah. Yeah, he goes from freaking out to outright panic at that.
Yeah, and as he's panicking, the large elementals that are surrounding you quickly go flying forward all the directions, and you look around and you're no longer in hell anymore. You look around and you're in an empty room. It's dark. You hear the dripping of water from the ceiling hitting the ground. It takes a while. There's nothing in the room. It's empty. There's no windows. There's no door.
But it is cooler than it was, I'm assuming?
Yeah. You're not burning. You're not burning.
Yeah. Okay. How big a room?
It's not that big. It's probably 10 feet by 10 feet. Like a square room. Is it pretty big for you, Rage? Rage is like, that's a huge room for me, man.
That's my room size.
Yeah, it's
like a normal bedroom size.
it's spacious enough, especially considering it's empty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's empty, so it looks amazing. Thank you, Arnar, so much for the 2 months of support. Appreciate it. Are you thinking about what to do next?
I think at this point he's gonna basically move himself to the center of the room and just sit down and try and sort of like almost meditate, but trying to be, how to phrase it, trying to get in contact with his power, with the source of his energy, trying to find that within himself.
Yeah, you sit down and you're trying to basically like find your chi of some sort, your power source.
Yeah.
And as you sit there and meditate, your eyes closed, you can hear the dripping of the water every once in a while, slowly dripping. As your eyes close, you see darkness. And then all of a sudden, you see all of the faces of those who were criminals, who had bounties on their head. Every single one of them that you turned in. Do you open your eyes?
Yes.
You open your eyes and they're all standing in the room around you.
Are they doing anything, saying anything, or just standing there?
Some of them are standing there in like threatening motion. Others are glaring. Some of them are shouting things at you.
Yeah, so some of them are obviously taking aggressive postures, so he's going to stand up at that, just so he's not quite so vulnerable on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And from there...
One of them goes to swing at you. They have like a big club with a bunch of spikes on it.
Okay, he's going to try and dodge that. Since he can't rely on
yeah,
his
roll
magic.
me like a dex save to dodge. You don't have advantage on that, right?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, with a 15, you dodge out of the way, but you land in someone else's arms, who is one of the other bounty or people that you had a bounty on, and then you look up at them, their face looking down at you, and then you wake up. For real.
Okay.
You wake up and you're in your own bed, sweat dripping down your face. You hear that dripping.
Looking around, can you see where the dripping's coming from?
Yeah, it's coming from the ceiling.
Is it an actual hole in the roof, or is it like something else?
Looks like it might be coming from the room above you.
Okay. He's going to gather his things then.
Yeah, this time you go, you gather your things up, they don't turn into money. You pick them up, they're normal.
Thankfully. Yeah. Looking about, can you tell what sort of time it is?
It's about midnight.
Okay. He's going to...
You've slept for about like 2 hours at this point.
Yeah, okay. He's going to head upstairs to try and work out which room it is, and he's going to knock on the door.
You're just gonna go upstairs. Okay. Yeah. I thought maybe you'd go to like the innkeeper or something. That's interesting. You're like, I'm taking it into my own hands.
It was 50-50,
Yeah.
which he was going to do. So, yeah, go upstairs. If there's no answer from the room, obviously,
Yeah.
innkeeper. But
we'll come back
go
to
up and
you
knock on the door.
as you're walking up the stairs with all of your things. Baz, it's been a little while. You parted ways with Delilah as she was like, I'm gonna go sleep. You obviously aren't gonna stay there. You head back to the inn and you do see Garrick, who you see this person sitting like perched up on a chair with all his hands on the chair. He has 4 hands on the chair. One of them is not. It's kind of like holding a glass, and every once in a while he's like looking into the glass, smiling, and then drinking out of it. You see a barmaid that's in there, and it seems like everyone else has kind of started buggering off, as you would say.
I think when Boz sees Garrick, he just he stops mid-step, kind of hangs his jaw open for a second, shakes his head, and keeps walking.
Okay. Did you say anything to him, Garrick? Or are you too busy looking at yourself?
I probably don't see him.
Are you just gonna go to bed, Baz?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Baz heads off to sleep. Garrett continues to drink his rum. Are you gonna just stay in there and just drink the rum? Are you gonna head back? What's your plan, Garrick, this evening?
Drink, and then, well, how far away is the house?
It's far. It's quite a few miles away.
Okay, I probably sleep at the inn.
Okay. Yeah, you ask if there's a room open. There is. They just require about 5 silver a night.
Okay.
Okay. So for one night, make sure you remove the 5 silver. And so the next morning occurs, but before we get to the next morning, Ardath, you knock on the door, and you're knocking on it. Yeah, you're just like, do you say anything as you're knocking on the door?
It's late, so he's trying not to wake up other people, but he wants to speak to the occupant of the room.
So you're just mostly knocking, you're not saying anything else.
He'll try a quiet hello through the door, but it depends whether or not he gets any sort of response.
Okay. You knock on it a couple times, and first couple knocks you don't hear anything. You don't hear any movement. You knock again, and you hear some slight shuffling about in the room. And then you hear the doorknob slowly turning, and an old lady stands before you. She holds the door half way open, so you can only just see her. She looks like she's clutching her gown in her arms, and you can't really see her face that well, but she's like, "Hello, what is it?"
Water was dripping from your room into mine.
And what would you like me to do about this?
It would probably be good to stop the water.
She kind of looks around. You see her like turn to look in the room, and there's no water running in my room.
I kind of want to insight that to see if Ardoth believes her.
What do you want to do?
Insight?
Oh, you want insight to see if she's lying to you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll me insight. With a 10. You don't think she's lying to you. She doesn't seem
Okay.
like... She seems like she doesn't have any running water. And you also know in your room you don't have like a faucet or something in your room.
Yeah, but she's not got like a jug of water that's been knocked over or something.
She doesn't seem like she thinks she has the
Yeah.
jug that's knocked over, yeah.
Yeah. Then Ardoth will say, "My apologies. Sorry to disturb you." And turn and leave.
Okay, good night, young man. And she closes the door. You're not that young, but to her you are. Oh, you might
Yeah.
be. How old's your character? I thought you were older for some reason.
He's a half-elf, so he has quite an extended lifespan, but he's 45 currently.
Oh,
So.
that's true. Yeah, you're not that old.
Don't you think that you're like 90 though, or is that another person?
Yes, which
Okay.
is why he's carrying his stave around, because he's using it to help him walk.
Yeah, okay. So she would think that you do look old because your character. No, you think you're 90.
I
You
think
don't
I'm
actually
90.
look like.
Everyone else thinks I'm effectively sort of like young middle-aged kind of thing. Because half elves live to like
Derek.
200 plus.
He's
So
like, kill her and steal her loot. Yeah, so she basically closes the door on you. You go back. Are you going back to your room?
yes.
You go back to your room and you are just going to go back to sleep?
I want to see if the water's still dripping.
Yeah, roll me investigation. You go to look and it actually looks like the water stopped.
Okay, in which case, yeah, he will go back to sleep.
All right, you all sleep. Ardath, you have a couple nightmares here and there. Kind of that reoccurring thing where you wake up, you're in hell. You go to grab your things, everything turns into money. You look around and you're in an empty room again, and there's all the people that you turned in when you were a bounty hunter. Like, you just keep seeing their faces over and over again. The dream changes here and there with little iterations every time you like wake up and then you try to go back to sleep. But it's kind of this reoccurring theme, those two things over and over again. The rest of you sleep fairly peacefully. I think maybe Varys has a little bit of trouble. He doesn't know. You don't really need to sleep as much. You're just continually thinking about those kids and that family, and you just see their faces. And when you looked at that painting, you all awake the next morning. Garrick, Ardath, and Baz, you're all going to be in the common room in the inn, which is where you're getting food and stuff. I don't know if you guys want to sit together or not, but you're all in the inn at the same time. Varys, you wake up and you are on the hill next to or inside of your tent. I'm not sure what your plan is going from there, but we'll start with the inn. What's everyone's plan?
I think that at the moment, Boz has a small little like kind of coin-shaped piece of wood that he's currently carving. It'd
Mm-hmm.
be about yay big.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, he's using a knife to carve the symbol of Helm into it.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, at the moment he's just doing that.
All right. He's carving something into wood. Go ahead.
I'm probably the last one awake since I was the last one to go to sleep.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
join in and you're like the last one. Ardoth, what are you doing while you're eating?
Ardoth's eating quickly. He will have been one of the first, even if it meant he didn't get necessarily as much sleep, he will have been one of the first up, so he can get into the common room when it's still quiet. So he'll be basically eating breakfast as quickly as he can so he can go off and disappear. He has a plan for the day, but that may or may not happen. Also, since there are people that have seen Ardoth before, he used to wear a hooded cloak in midnight blue with some bright sigils scribed around it. So sort of like yellows and whites. He still wears that cloak. It's now a lot more charred. There are obvious burn patches on it. It's still intact, but it's obvious that that's happened. And there are now a bunch of new symbols that were not there before that are in various shades of red.
Yeah. Interesting changes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you are all eating your meals. Garrick, you join in last as you enter the room. And the morning continues on as per usual. You all are eating your meals. Varys, you're actually coming back into town from your trip out of town. And as you're entering the town, Varys, you start hearing some people screaming over by the stable. It's kind of like the entrance of where you come into the town. People are shouting. There's some loud noises happening. You're the first to hear this. What do you do?
Can I make out what they're shouting, or is it just like I'm too far away? I just hear
You just hear
general people
screaming.
raising
It's
their
like
voices.
people just shouting and screaming. Like it's not coherent enough for you to like decipher like why they're screaming or shouting. You're still a bit of far away.
Okay, I'm gonna run up there then to see what's happening.
Yeah, you run up. Roll me a perception check.
Ooh.
21. Yeah. You run up to where the stable is as you enter the town, and you see a bunch of people running down the street, some of them running into buildings, and down the pathway you see this large creature. It looks kind of like a bull. It has giant horns, and it's kind of scraping the ground and grunting and making some noises. And every once in a while you just see it blowing like this green smoke out of its nostrils.
Interesting.
You also, when you're looking at it, it kind of looks like it's wearing armor, but it doesn't look like it's got like pieces of armor on it. It looks like it is made out of armor.
Right, so we've got a battle bull, and it's not happy. Okay, that's interesting. Can I try to like shout calming things at it and try to like communicate with it?
Are you trying to intimidate it, or are you trying to like speak with animals it?
Kinda. I'm trying to basically talk into letting me make an animal handling check to try and like calm it down a little, because I spend a lot of time in nature, and I would like to, as a half elf, I would probably know like how to talk
roll
to
me an animal
animals in that
handling,
way.
and we'll see how that works for you. 13. What do you do when you're trying to animal handle this creature?
I'd probably walk up to it calmly, try to like hold on to my cloak so that I'm not like waving a piece of fabric at it, because that like annoys bulls. So I'd just try to talk to it in like a calming tone, it's like easy now. I'm like trying to get a handle of what's going on. Why is this bull made of armor annoyed at stuff?
Yeah, how
Just trying
close
to
are you
talk it
going to
down.
get to it?
I'd say pretty close, like 20 feet.
20 feet, okay. Okay. With the 13, I'm gonna say it doesn't rush you. It looks at you as you're telling it, calm down, it's okay. And it scrapes its leg, its foot, its hoof along the ground again. Dust coming out from where it's scraping. And 2 blows of smoke, this green gas, come out of its nostrils.
All right, so noticing that my initial like tactic hasn't worked, I'm gonna try to slowly back off while also not walking backwards in a straight line to try and like side strafe a little bit as I'm backing off,
Okay.
trying to like indicate to this bull made of armor that I'm not here to threaten it or anything, and that I don't want a confrontation.
Yeah. How many feet back diagonally do you go?
Probably like 15 feet ish.
Okay. It's about this moment that you all start hearing people shouting. Some people running into the inn, slamming the door behind them, trying to hold the door up. Other people banging on the door. Let me in! Let us in! And there's like a couple people like holding the door, like holding them back, trying not to let them in.
Buzz would immediately like jump up and pocket the little amulet that he was making, and I think he goes to try and push the people that are holding the door off of it to let the other people in.
We can't open the door. It's out there. It's gonna get us.
I
Is there
think he just
another exit?
That's the only way to get in and out of the inn.
Okay.
Other than, I guess, a window. Or maybe some of, like, there's an employee, probably side door or something.
I think Buzz just like points at the image of himself on the mural and then just tries to keep pushing them back.
Yeah. I think you're easily going to be able to do it, but roll me a strength, just pure strength.
All right. Wow.
Wow.
What are the probabilities of that? Yeah, you're trying to like move this person, but you're also, you don't want to hurt them. So it's kind of one of those moments where you're like, come on, like, look at them. You're just like pointing at the mural, looking back at them, and they're just like horrified as you're trying to like move them, and they're shaking their head no, like, mm-mm.
Can I open a window?
I mean, I guess you could try to open up a window.
Okay.
Okay.
I will
You're gonna
try.
just try to open like a side window somewhere?
Yeah. How
Let
big
me
is the
think, like,
window?
where the windows are in the inn. Yeah, you can try to open up one of the side windows. Are you just gonna go over, like, run up and open the window? Like, is that, like, that's it? That's what you're trying to do? You're gonna try to climb out of it?
Kind of just like, I don't run. I just kind of
Casually.
hop. I hop over on my 4 hands.
Okay.
Like a
Yeah, you
monkey
hop up
does.
over and you're trying to, like, undo the latches on this window. I guess I could say you could be doing this dexterously. So you could either use
Well,
your
I'm
dex,
obviously
or
not
you can
dead.
use your strength if you want to, like, punch the window open.
I almost typed in roll dex.
You just click the dex or click the strength button.
Oh, there we go. I
15?
maybe clicked it twice.
Yeah, it's not that hard to open up the window. just because you have like you have like a lot of hands, so you actually like jump up with one of your one of your hands. You're like perched holding the side of the window, and then with your other hand you're like holding the side to like grab the latch, because it's one of those windows where like the latch is in the middle, but it's like a huge window. So you're like kind of like spreading yourself and trying to like reach up, and you're able to, like, as you're holding yourself up in there, move the knob, push it over, and push the window up, and yeah, you get the window open.
All right. What do I see out the window?
You see another building next to the window. Like there's
Oh, this
another
is like the
building out
side.
there. Yeah,
This is
this
side.
building is next to another building. So there's like a little bit of grass down in between that building and the building that's next to you. You see
How
like
high? How high is the window,
I
and how big is it?
don't know off the top of my head.
Is it big enough to fit people?
Yeah, you could fit through the window.
Okay, I will go through the window
Mhm.
and then hop over to the road
Okay.
and say, "This way."
There's people still banging on the window, and there's like 5 people like pushed up trying to like push their way in. They see you. One of them just starts screaming again. I'm actually gonna do like a roll check for all of them, because now I think that they're all just gonna be afraid. Because
Just what we needed. More panic.
Let's see, how
What
old
are
are
you talking
they?
about? I'm like at least a 20.
They're horrified. They see you over there, like you're like on all fours. You have like your feet have hands. You have like feathers. They're like, let us in. There's more of them. Rage like loves this. He's like, yes. Fear me. Ardoth, you haven't said anything that you're doing in here. You see all this going on. You see some weird like birdman creature going out the window that they just opened. You see Baz trying to like get people to move out of the way to like let people in through the door.
Yeah.
There's people gathering their things and rushing back into their rooms. The innkeeper is like trying to calm people down and being like, calm down, what's going on?
Ardoth's going for the window. He's gonna go head outside and see what's going on.
All right, you climb out the window, and as you climb out the window, oh, well, roll me a dex to get out of the window first, because it's kind of like, it's not like close to the ground. You have to like jump up and get up there.
Okay.
Since the window's already open, it'd be an acrobatics or athletics check.
Acrobatics. Yeah.
You lift your hands up to go up the window, but your bones are old and crankly. You can't lift yourself up to a push-up like you used to be able to do. And you can't get your leg up at the same time. You're having a little bit of a struggle. One of those days.
Yeah. At which point he's going to sigh and turn and walk towards the door. As he does so, runes start glowing on his staff and it bursts into flame.
Okay. Your staff turns into flame?
Yeah, those are 2 separate things.
Okay.
Basically, initially a set of runes appear, and then suddenly the quarterstaff is just engulfed in fire.
Okay, so it's like got flame all around it. Got you.
Yeah.
What's your goal with this?
Basically, he's preparing to defend himself if there's weird stuff going on, but it's also he's openly using magic and walking towards the door. It's going to be a let me pass.
Are you trying to intimidate them? All right, roll me an intimidation check.
That's a lot better.
What do you say as you stand there and your staff turns to flame?
literally let me pass. Just that.
Yeah, you just say, "Let me pass," and as the flame engulfs, and Baz is standing there. Baz is like still trying to like push this person out of the way to Jank. At this point, he's like pulling on the door, and this other guy's like pushing the door. And you say that, and the guy like just backs up. He rushes backwards to the wall, and you see him like he actually like smacks his head on the wall because he's like running away so far away. And the door comes flinging open, and 3 people come flying into it. Baz, you're able to like kind of stand off to the side as like all these people start rushing into the door, and they see you with the flaming staff, and they're all like, they first like run through the door, and then they're like, oh my god, what the heck, and then they kind of like all dodge off to the sides trying to like avoid Ardoth. And Ardoth, you just continually walk slowly out the door.
Yep.
And Baz, you look around, and that's what happens.
I think Boz takes a few steps back from Ardoth after that.
Okay.
It's scary.
As you stand outside, Ardoth, you look down to the right, and that's where you see people running from. Garrick, you also, if you turn and look that way instead of towards the end, and you look back, you do see people running towards you. And Ardoth, you can see Garrick as well, standing there, or well, sitting. I don't know. He's got like all 4 of his hands on the ground.
Being there.
Yeah.
He's there. I just like to keep giving this vision of what he looks like because he's so weird looking.
All right. I want to climb up onto the roof
Of the inn?
of a building.
Yeah, you can roll me an acrobatics or an athletics check to do that.
Does he get advantage on that kind of stuff with all the extra hands?
I think I should. That's why I'm doing it.
Nah, it's just a normal roll.
You probably wouldn't be used enough to like having 4 hands to really climb up a building in a couple of
Yeah.
days.
Not quite yet.
If there's like a pipe or something, I can just like climb up it.
Well, let's see if you can roll me an acrobatics or athletics, and we'll see how it goes.
Acrobatics is Dex.
Rage is a Garrick is a rogue. Oh man, you get a +7 to that. You guys are having a rough day, other than Ardoth, I guess. Ardoth's not having any of this shit. He has had some shitty ass dreams. He is not dealing. Garrick, yeah, you actually go and you see a pipe, and you're like, oh, maybe I can use that to climb up it with like all my little hands. You go to grab it, and you kind of start climbing up it a little bit, and then you start losing your grip, and you start sliding down it. And also, it sounds like it might be breaking as you are trying to climb up it. You weigh a little bit more than it can probably handle.
Is it like breaking off?
It's not breaking off, but it is making some sound, so it sounds like it might break off if you continued to try to climb up the pipe. But for now, it looks like it's still intact, like it's not going to fall apart yet.
Okay. I will run to another building.
That was a good idea, though, climbing up the top of the building. I was like, oh, I like that. Meanwhile, Baz, do you still stand there in the doorway?
No, I think after a second, like after Ardoth walks out, Boz follows after him.
Yeah, you follow out after him, and you see the same thing. You see people running from the other side. You don't see Garrick this time. Ardoth, you did see Garrick move back through the alley little corner, and you heard some noises. Varys, we're gonna go back to you since you're not with them. You're slowly backing up diagonally as this giant bull creature, or not giant, I think he's a large bull-like creature is standing there, and it's scraping its hoof against the ground, and green gas just like spewing out of its nose.